Hello and welcome to CadoinkStudios. Today I have for you game number 2 in round 2 of the Gold and Below tournament. This is game number 2 between Shreya and Arcanine. We do have Shreya spawning in the bottom left corner as the green Protoss on Tal'Darim Altar. And his opponent is once again the yellow Zerg spawning on the bottom right. It is Arcanine. In game number 1 we saw Arcanine take it with some nice Zergling Mutalisk harassment. And then at the very end, he had to morph some Banelings just to pick off the army. So hopefully in game number 2, we'll see Arcanine kind of build a less squishy force, a more powerful force, something that can tank a lot of damage. And in game number 1, we saw Shreya build up a nice little Stalker Sentry Zealot force doing some Blink Micro. Hopefully we'll see him build some more Immortals and protect his base a little bit better if there are any kind of counterattacks. This can be a hard map to defend. I don't know, it can sometimes be difficult to defend. For example, if Shreya once again does the pylon thing on Arcanine, Arcanine will not be able to take his third because there are rocks here, and so he can take something like this base. However, this base is very vulnerable because a pylon can easily be put here and stuff can be warped in, and basically this base can be attacked very, very easily. So we do have Shreya going for a Forge Fast expand. I like this decision quite a bit. It's going to be a lot more economical than his build in game number 1. In game number 1 he played very safe and very economical, but he didn't have a very economical build. So in this game he will have a very, very strong economy, and then when he decides to attack he'll have a very, very strong force. And in the meantime, it looks like Arcanine was able to get his expansion off, as very unluckily Shreya did not scout him out first. So that was able to be placed down. It was a 15 hatch, which is different from game number 1. In game number 1 he went spawning pool first, and then he went extractor, and then he took his second base. So we do have a photon cannon going down for Shreya as well as a gateway. He's going to be trying to wall this up as best he can. He can put a cybernetics core down in just the perfect spot to where he can fit a zealot in there. Don't know if he'll be doing that or not. We'll have to see. Also, I like the cannon, the pylon placement. This pylon, I guess it's not powering this one. This pylon, I don't really know how this works. I don't play Protoss, so I don't build these little Forge Fast Expand walls. I do like, however, how this Nexus is like right next to these two buildings, so nothing can slip in and slip this way. They have to go in this way. I don't know. I like analyzing walls. I find them to be very, very cool. So Arcanine's natural has completed. He will be starting to drone that up. Actually, no, he is going to be building a ton of Zerglings. So might be pushing out, trying to see what his opponent has. He did see the Forge Fast expand, so he might try to do a run by. There's just enough room for Zelt to pop in and prevent that from happening. However, we'll have to see how this ends up playing out. Maybe he can get his probe there in time, but no, it looks like the probe will be caught out of position, and it will be picked off, and now the Zerglings will be going across the map and perhaps trying to slip into the base. If they get there before the Zealot finishes, they might be in a lot of trouble, but the Zealot's definitely going to finish before they get there, and then these two cannons are going to just do tons of damage to these Zerglings. So he won't be able to do anything. He really should start droning up at this time. So he once again is going to be spreading his creep rather early. I like this, starting in the main and working your way to the natural and then continuing on from there. He's also going to be putting down Spinecrawler to make sure there's no kind of early attacks on his natural. Can be a bit vulnerable in the beginning of the game. But luckily for him, his opponent is Forge Fast expanding, so there's not really any kind of threat on the way. However, if we look at the income tab is much better for Shreya. It's looking very, very nice. He does have 28 workers to Arcanine's 19. So economically, he's looking very, very strong. He will be able to build a nice army if he keeps this up. However, it looks like Arcanine wants to do some damage. He's going to be building a Roach Warren. He's going up to a lair. I suspect he'll be getting glial reconstruction and then pumping out a lot of roaches. That's something I would do. However, we know that Arcanine likes to build Mutalisks, so that might be what he's doing instead. He's also going to be moving across with some Zerglings. Very unfortunately for him, This is a perfect wall, I believe, with these 2 Zealots, and these 2 cannons will do a lot of damage to the Zergling, so they won't be able to do anything in that sense. Zergling speed not even finished yet. He might be waiting for that. And so he is going to be building 4 drones at this time. This is a good decision. He should drone up. He really needs to keep ahead of the Protoss player. He is a little bit behind at this time. Actually, behind by 11 probes, which can be quite huge. So he really needs to start focusing on that economy. Yeah, and it looks like, once again, not too much happening. Both players are just kind of macroing up. There isn't too much to be said. In this kind of situation, you just have to, keep some Zerglings in the front of his base, make sure he's not pushing out, and just continue to build drones until you feel worried that he's going to be pushing out. A lot of Zerg players will just go 3 base and drone up really, really hard until they hit 75, and then they'll start producing units. This was kind of, I guess, made popular by DRG, as he's one of the best players to do that. He won an MLG by doing that. Well, he didn't win the finals like that, but he won a lot of his games like that. It's a very good play. Just drone up really hard, hit 75, then start producing a ton of units, such as roaches. And yeah, Glial Reconstruction is coming out, so I was right about that, and he is producing 6 roaches. He's also getting +1 ranged attack, so that's going to help him a lot. Looks like he tried to poke in with some Zerglings, but he saw that that was not going to happen. And so he will be building those roaches and trying to do a bust probably here in a little bit of time, keeping that watchtower while also keeping some Zerglings in front of his base. This is very good. He'll know when anything comes out. And it looks like Shreya is going to be building a ton of Immortals. This is actually the perfect decision. He doesn't necessarily know that there are roaches on the way. Actually, he does have an observer, but I don't know where he is. It's probably somewhere. Oh, there's not an observer. Excuse me. I figured there would be. But maybe this is just good game sense, as these Immortals are going to do a lot of damage to the roaches. So we will be trying to produce those 2 at a time. They're quite expensive, though. I think the gas is the problem there. He really needs to make sure he's getting gas, which he is. He's getting gas out of all 4 of his extractors. Actually, no, this one is missing some. Shreya, put some guys in this gas, quick. Get more Immortals. Immortals are so good. He did poke out, kill some Zerglings. Nice pick off there. However, he did reveal the Immortals, so Arcanine should know that that's on the way and should do something about it. Perhaps more Zerglings, maybe some Mutalisks in the mix. But we will see what he does. It looks like he is going to be going for that tunneling claws so that he can burrow under the ground and move around. Also, his +1 attack is done. Really should start that +1 defense, or +2, depending on what he prefers. And yeah. Once again, we're still kind of at a standstill where each player is just kind of macroing up, building drones. If we look at the income tab, the income is way ahead for Shreya. He's done very, very good at keeping his probe count up. But in the army tab, oh no, he's ahead in everything, so whoops, sorry about that. Yeah, so Shreya's looking very, very strong in this game. If he takes it, he will be able to move on into game number 3 and survive in his tournament life. If he loses this game, he loses it all. And so I'd like to see him do well so we can go to a game number 3. And Arcanine is going to be taking his 3rd at the same time that Shreya wants to be taking his 3rd. He's also moving out with some roaches and Zerglings. Looks like he wants to be attacking here pretty shortly. His creep spread is incredibly good, moving across the map, even moving into his 3rd. I like this very, very much. He will be able to have vision of this ramp here pretty shortly, so he knows if anything tries to swing around and attack him from there. So yeah, very good vision by Shreya. He also has, or by Arcanine, excuse me. He does have some overlords here, so we'll be able to see. Ooh, look at this Zergling. This Zergling placement is awesome. So he has vision here. If a warp prism tries to fly by, he will be able to see that. So this is very cool. The observer finally coming out for Shreya. We'll be moving across the map and we'll see some pretty normal things. Yeah, not too much to be said. Both players continuing to macro up. Yeah, don't really know what to say. Would really like to see Arcanine drone up a little harder. If we look, he only has 30 7 worker supply. That's really, really low for a Zerg player. He has all this larva, and he has 2,000 minerals. So he is building 50 Zerglings at this time, which is good. But he also should be droning up a little harder. I mean, I know it looks like you have a lot of money, and so you don't feel like you need to drone anymore, but actually that worker count is extremely low. You want to be at around 75. That way you can be continually producing stuff, whereas right now there's kind of production in bursts. And so my one piece of advice is focus on droning. Drone up very, very hard. And for Shreya, I would say make more of a presence across the map. Arcanine is being very, very good at moving across the map, keeping his stuff around, and spreading his creep, moving his overlords. He has vision of basically everything around his base. So my one piece of advice for Shreya right now is move out, see what's going on. You never know if there are any secret bases or if there's any kind of secret tech happening. And yeah. So it looks like Arcanine is going to be moving in, but he does have a very, very small force of roaches and Zerglings. Shreya will be able to pick this off with ease. Arcanine is going to have to pull everything back, but some nice force fields going down, allowing him to get a few more hits off on those roaches. So he will have to pull back. And now it looks like, oh, maybe not. It looked like Shreya was hungry for blood, but I think he will be pulling back. A few of his army is continuing to move forward. It's probably just the pathing. Oh, he does manage to pick off a creep tumor, which is very, very good. But yeah, in the meantime, it looks like some Zerglings ran into the natural and did a lot of damage, forcing the probes back. However, these cannons and these zealots will be able to deal with this. As well, there were some Zerglings in the main. In fact, if we look, 22 workers were killed. Oh, whoa, no. Yeah, 22 workers killed. So yeah, Arcanine doing a good job at coming in, doing as much harassment as he can. Yeah, so great job, Arcanine. Being very active around the map. This is what I'm talking about. If you're active around the map, Shreya, you can find these nice little areas where you can engage and do some damage. Just like that. So it looks like some infestors will be coming out. A hive is complete, so maybe he'll be teching up to broodlords or something like that. Does have quite a bit of money. He could do it. However, he does need to take these 2 more gas geysers if he decides to do so. Some Zerglings are now running into the 3rd. However, there are some stalkers there. In fact, Shreya's whole army is there, and he will be once again forcing Arcanine back. So yeah, Arcanine really can't take this 3rd, as Shreya is being very, very good at protecting it. He is a little bit worried about another Zergling run by into his main, natural and main. So he will be keeping his army kind of in this middle ground. But I would love to see him move out. If he took this watchtower, he would really have a lot more vision. He'd be able to do a lot more. In fact, if he kept one probe here, and then he kept his army here, he could see everything. And it looks like he is listening to me somehow. He will be moving across the map at this time. And hopefully he'll be pushing, as his army is very, very strong. Greater Spire coming out for Arcanine. However, I don't think Broodlords will be done in time, so this is not very good for Arcanine. Shreya has a huge army, a lot of infestors. He could get some good fungal growths, but his army is just really, really squishy. He doesn't have that much in the way to defend it. So he will be moving forward. Some fungal growths going down, but they're landing on the Immortals and some sentries, not really worth their while, and so he will have to burrow everything. And so Arcanine's just saying, screw it, I'm just going to push into your main. You only have a few roaches, you can't really kill me that quickly. A base trade would be very foolish. So we will be moving forward. A lot of Zerglings coming by. They are going to run by to try to do a base trade, but this is just looking a lot worse for Arcanine than it is for Shreya. Shreya does have 3 cannons as well as a lot of stalkers. He is managing to hold his stalkers in that little space so they can't run by. However, the stalkers are going down. The Zergling's doing a lot of damage as they are 1-1. But they will indeed fall, and now Arcanine is in a lot of trouble. Shreya is in his base, killing all of his things. Natural does go down. The 3rd does not have much in it, and the main is next, and it's well undefended. These roaches are doing a little bit of damage to this 3rd. He might be able to pick it off. However, there are some more stalkers here. Picking off a few of these infested Terran. We'll be able to pick off the infestor as well. And there's the GG. Well played by Arcanine. Very good game, Shreya. You managed to push out and crush him. Probably could have done so earlier, so my one piece of advice, just move across the map, get some vision, be more active scouting around. and Arcanine drone up really, really hard and build less squishy units. But great game to both of y'all. Congratulations, Shreya, for managing to hold on. We will be moving on into a game number 3, where the winner will move on to round 3 of the Golden Below tournament. I'm Cadoink, and I will see you guys in game number 3.